Good morning, or
Good
afternoon,
morning.
or evening.
Good afternoon from France.
So evening's here. Well, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I'm looking forward to hearing all the new news about SFCGAL.
Thanks.
All right, share your screen and start whenever you wish. That
Okay.
works.
So I'll be talking about SFCGAL extension, PostGIS SFCGAL extension. This extension has been around for a while now, but we haven't had many presentations about it since years. And there is a lot of new features and perspective to show you. So let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Loïc Bartoletti from France. I'm a former urban planner and since 8 years now, software developer at Australia. I extensively used both open source and proprietary SCAD and GIS tools. And since some years, I'm a QGIS committer and some months PostGIS committer. Some links about me, my photo, and my avatar on GitHub. Some words about Estonia. We are a small and medium-sized enterprise, SME, French society, and we are focused on open source and IT service. We are specialists in GIS solution covering the complete cycle from data collection, land surveying, and to creating some maps and interactive applications. And here's some of the technology software we use and contribute to. One logo is missing, is SFCGAL. So what is SFCGAL? SFCGAL started from a European project, Plan for All, an urban 3D planning project. This project started with Australia and IGN France to develop a library for 3D GIS, focusing on CTGML and simple feature standards. The integration happened in PostGIS 2.1, so 10 years ago, and later in GEOS 2.2 to support polygonal surface, thin and solid, and 3D operation. Today, the project is maintained by the SFCGAL community, not just Australia. We remain the main contributors, but it's a true open source project, and we hope to see it grow outside Australia. Some more about the SFCGAL. So SFCGAL is built on top of SFCGAL, a computational geometry algorithm library, very big project, state of art on geometry library. SFCGAL acting as a bridge wrapper between SFCGAL functions and simple feature representations. And PostGIS, with PostGIS SFCGAL, use the C API from SFCGAL, similar to it use GEOS C API. Some key feature about SFCGAL, we cover all simple feature geometry except curves, maybe one day, but it's not a top priority for us. And we are focusing on exact geometric computation and full 3D capabilities, potentially on DD 4D capabilities, and we have some bindings. A very frequent question is why use SFCGAL instead of GEOS or vice versa. Really, they should be seen as complementary tools. GEOS is a de facto standard for GIS operation. SFCGAL enables and some advanced 2D algorithm and most importantly 3D operation. Some comparison difference, GeoS only on 2D, SFCGAL full 3D, computation type is not the same. We have some different unique operation. Some use cases more important, I think. And for data type, SFCGAL support all simple feature geometry except curves, and GeoS doesn't support, for at the moment, polygonal, solid, and thin, maybe thin. And not so important, some word about development and deployment. But to summarize, use GEOS for all traditional 2D GIS operation and SFCGAL for 3D operation, and sometimes for some algorithm like a stress skeleton, visibility, or some kind of this algorithm not present in GeoS. Some word about integration. SFCGAL is SFCGAL is integrated in PostGIS. Why is the Phoenix here? SFCGAL has been around for all these years, and there was a lull in activities for various reasons. And however, the development actively resuming over the past 4 years, maybe 5, and some have likened it to a phoenix rising from the ashes. The project was not dead and has been used and still been used in some projects, but it's certainly true that we're making a powerful comeback, and thanks to our contributors. So there are a lot of say between these learning activities, and notably since PostGIS 3. Since PostGIS 3, in PostGIS 2, there was a flag for backend. You can use GeoS or SFCGAL, but since PostGIS 3, you have a dedicated extension like PostGIS topology raster. So you can enable this extension with this query. And you have access to all this function, some selected function. I won't review all function, but in short, they use destructive name with CG prefix, prefix introduced in PostGIS 3.5. And of course, a complete list of function is available in the manual. So what can we do with PostGIS SFCGAL? Here a tiny example from the documentation. You have a point with a kinda-like buffer. You can extrude it thanks to SFCGAL and compute the 3D onion of the two 3D geometries. So how SFCGAL functions are exposed in PostGIS? We have a folder, SFCGAL folder, with two main files in PostGIS. And one is a C file acting like a very simple wrapper. here a pseudocode with SFCGAL function name, internal function name. You have to declare some variable, initialize SFCGAL, convert PostGIS geometry to SFCGAL1, call the function from the C API, and convert back geometry from SFCGAL to PostGIS if needed, and return something. And there is another file for the SQL function. Here, CG tessellate, which call the C SFCGAL tessellate function, internal SFCGAL function, and it's as simple as that. And of course, you have to write documentation in XML format. I don't like it, but you have to write documentation and add some tests. So some word about CI. Previously, some user found SFCGAL compilation challenging, especially due to SFCGAL dependencies and more precisely GMP and GMP XX for big number for math precision. As a FreeBSD package maintainer, I never had issues, and speaking from my experience, I never encountered any issue, big issues on deploying on a client machine, on some like very old CentOS or Red Hat. But we heard about the problems some people had, and we made sure to have the tools to fix them. So since 4 years, we made a big CI, a very big CI to ensure SFCGAL build well on all this system with different SFCGAL version, different distribution, even the different computer. And I think now it's resolved. There is no issue. I can guarantee no issues like any software. But since some years, I think compiling SFCGAL has become a piece of cake. And since the last version of SFCGAL, we built a Docker image for Debian and Windows, and we also contribute to some package system for Windows, since our customers are mostly on Windows, sometimes on Red Hat, but it's okay on Red Hat thanks to Devrim, the packager. And Red Hat is a very good job. So I think we made a lot of effort to enable a very simple distribution to SFCGAL, and we're always happy to help packager. Some use case. Since this was SFCGAL was developed for urban planning, Plan for project, the main historical use is the building extrusion. You have a footprint. Here is a building from Hygiene France or BD Topo. We have an height to extrude the building, and you want to view it in a 3D view. So here it's an example of the use to extrude thread skeleton to generate false rooftop, and it generates 3D polygonal surface Z geometry, and it's directly read from QGIS 3D. But you can also export the small dataset, the same dataset, on web viewer, like our 3D web viewer here at GEOS. It was exported in GeoJSON. So SFCGAL is also used in some BIM-like operation. If you have network intersection into a building. And for some 3D city GML database format or something like. And I think the other major use case, and mostly from our clients, it's 3D volume computation for mining. Here is an example of classical operation for mining with multiple strata of information, mining information, donc showing the intersection of a dedicated area with this strata. And I think it's perhaps the more significant usage today of SFCGAL. And with PostGIS and SFCGAL, you can have some fun. If you remember the good old time of WordArt, you can take some function from PostGIS, escalators, subdivide it, and generate extrude with SFCGAL, and have a wonderful WordArt thanks to PostGIS. But more seriously, SFCGAL, no. So some CAD tools use also SFCGAL. So we can achieve the same result with SFCGAL. I speak about OpenSCAD because at Osondia, many of us are makers, and one day we thought, why not create the logo in 3D? We created the cicada, or our logo, and the PostGIS logo, first in OpenSCAD, and then converted to SFCGAL function, and the function names are almost the same name, same parameters. So almost everything you can do in PostGIS, in CAD tools, 3D CAD tools, you could be done in PostGIS SFCGAL. So some more about future development. We have a big roadmap. Some core improvement with a new algorithm. First, shape regularization, useful from concave contour from point cloud, or scan from all the CAD drawing with raster to vector conversion. You have ugly shape, and you want to regularize it, orthogonalize it to have a nice shape, like the red to the green shape. Some algorithm for polygon reparation, because SFCGAL require valid geometry. I will speak about later. And support for common GIS operation, currently lacking and requested. But main topics for us is 3D, and in 3D buffer will be available in PostGIS 3.6. You with 3D buffer will support points and line. Points will return sphere, and line return result like this with different algorithm, two for rounded shapes and like this, and one for flat shapes. We have also some project about point cloud, multi-point, like 3D alpha wrapping. It's like 3D alpha shapes, but for some other parameter for 3D. Here an example in 2D, but with some faces in 3D, and another concave hull, but in 3D. It's classical concave hull, but in 3D here. And the most important project actually is the surface reconstruction project with INRIA. From footprint and detailed mesh will be available to navigate into different LOD, level of details. So from this kind of geometry, 3D mesh, we like to perform some minimization technique. And precisely from this kind of rooftop, we like to have the same shape, but with different detail and keeping some information like, if I'm not wrong, but the dormer window, like this. It's a work in progress result because since we started the project only some months ago, but we have already some good result, and we plan to INRIA plan to add this algorithm into SFCGAL, and so after in SFCGAL and PostGIS. So we hope it will be available next year for SFCGAL and maybe for PostGIS 3.7, maybe 8. I don't know. Some other topics, and especially we are currently thinking about performance consideration on 3D operation, like 3D intersection, 3D union. And add some ND algorithm for 2D, 3D, and more dimension. And for interoperability, we have already this export in SFCGAL because it's requested by some client, notably for Vitica, to be used in ParaView. And for OBG, it's only for 3D scene. STL is for something like you have a SCAD, so you can print your city or elephant. Some words about evolution. I hope I will have time. Today, as mentioned before, we have a big CI, and we test all SFCGAL release before PostGIS SFCGAL integration. And we plan to continue and improve PostGIS SFCGAL test and verification. And one most challenging and frustrating issue today in SFCGAL in PostGIS is that errors can sometimes be handled rather abruptly. Because SFCGAL and SFCGAL require a very strict valid geometry and strict parameters. We're working on making the error more database friendly, returning error message without compromising performance, because it's a main topic also, and without crash. And the other subject is to how to use exact computation from SFCGAL directly in PostGIS. So a tiny example from a classical intersection is the intersection result intersect my first geometry. The query in PostGIS, which return false, but it's okay. Read the manual. It's a very good manual, so read the manual. It's well explained. In SFCGAL, this case here in Python will return true. So we expect to have a true answer in the PostGIS SFCGAL, but no, because of the transformation, PostGIS, SFCGAL, and PostGIS transformation. So for some clients, we implement Python scripts using SFCGAL, something like this. And the result is true, okay. But we could do, it could be possible to do this in PostGIS SFCGAL, but not for all cases or possibilities. So some day ago, I worked on old ID from our former CEO and former PostGIS contributor, Olivier Courtin, had something like parser, a script parser, and will be available to have only SFCGAL function inside PostGIS and without use Python. And so it can be very useful for exact computation if it's required for some operation. And finally, sorry for the time, we like to improve some developer experience. I like the GEOS command line interface. I use it almost every day. I like to add the same for SFCGAL. We're working on Python embedding, but we're also working on documentation for SFCGAL. For PostGIS SFCGAL, we are lacking on documentation for some many subjects on PostGIS, and we hope to grow the contributor base. And remember, contributing is just about coding. Some links about SFCGAL, PostGIS, and us, Aslandia. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Loïc. That's a great review of everything SFCGAL can do, and it's really pleasing to see SFCGAL rising from the ashes, the phoenix once again. It's been a long time that it's been sort of a moribund project. So seeing it not only cleaned up and working on its own result, but also having all these new functions coming in from SFCGAL it's a big deal. There's so much good stuff there. So I'm really glad to see you guys working on that.
Thank you.
How do people get their volumetric data into SFCGAL, into the database? Like what formats can you import this weird stuff into the database from? And how do you do that?
The format today it's only GIS format, so classical WKT, WKB, and all format from PostGIS. We don't have any import from VTK or other format. Maybe one day.
Is there like a format standard for volumetrics that would make sense to support that would give us broad ability to import this data?
VTK.
Vertica. Okay. How about GML?
Good question. Since SFCGAL is a 3D CTGML, we could read GML, but GML is very complex.
Yeah.
Very, very complex. You could ask to Evan from GDAL. If I remember correctly, for Polygon, you have 25 representation. So if GDAL support GML, PostGIS will support
Yeah.
GML.
Right. Yeah. All right. Oh, thank you so much for your time and for this presentation. Don't go away. Go to the Q&A. There's lots of questions for
Yeah,
you in the
okay.
Q&A. And
Thank
we're
you.
going to move on to our next speaker.